cannibalism, blood drinking, and high-adept Satanism. When I was 9 years old, I was taken to an event while I was in the mode of being Kathy. This was at the home of a wealthy Luciferian woman. I think that it may have been Bob's mother. There were dozens of Luciferians there. Everyone was wearing masks except for me and two other children. I was wearing a black girl's dress and slippers. The other children were dressed in black, and so was everyone else. I remember that we were all dressed in black as if we were attending a funeral. We gathered in the living room of this mansion. We sat in chairs in a big circle. I may have been slightly drugged at the time because I felt tired. The other children acted sedated as well, but I was awake and so were they. We had been told that we were going to witness an event of great power and importance. At one end of the room was a picture of then President Kennedy. Surrounding his picture was a funeral wreath. All this took place in late October or early November in 1963. Throughout the duration of this event, the song Old Black Magic was played over and over again. It's the song that starts with these lyrics. That old black magic has me in its spell. That old black magic that you weave so well. This Luciferian event went on for about 45 minutes. There were several things going on at the same time. A woman was reading something in a foreign language from a scroll. She read it over and over in a somber voice. Meanwhile, the adults were chanting something like Elik Ton Elas Uhat. I think they were chanting Thou shalt not kill backwards. Whatever it was, this chant had been played on a tape recorder for a while, and then they began to mimic what they heard on the tape recorder. They just chanted this in a somber voice over and over. Everyone seemed very serious. So these three things were going on at once. A woman repeatedly reading something out loud in a language I didn't understand. Dozens of people chanting Thou shalt not kill backwards over and over, and a recording of the song Old Black Magic playing over and over. When I was a child, I didn't understand the event at all, really. But it wasn't too long after that when JFK was killed. And I remember that when I heard the news of his death, I didn't feel surprised at all. Everyone else was shocked, but to me, it felt as if it had already happened earlier. When my family talked about the assassination over dinner that night, I remember that I said, I thought he died weeks ago. My family got angry at me for saying that, and so I tried to put the whole thing out of my mind. At that time in my life, that was the only way which I could deal with ritual abuse. I just blocked it out. Now, when I think of the film which shows President Kennedy's execution, I automatically hear the Old Black Magic song as if it were a soundtrack to that assassination. When I think of Kennedy's head exploding from the bullet and his body falling, I hear the words from that song. Down and down I go, round and round I go. What I have come to realize now, many years later, was that the woman reading from the scroll in a foreign language was a high adept Satanist. She was programming the minds of the people there to visualize and psychically cause the death of President Kennedy. Every time they were chanting, Thou shalt not kill backwards, they were psychically involving themselves in his murder. And throughout the playing of the popular song, Old Black Magic, the high adept psychic was programming the minds of the general public to accept this event. As a 9-year-old child, I didn't understand what I was witnessing that day, but I do remember that Bob told me that meetings similar to the one we attended were being held at exactly the same time in other cities around the country and around the world. So this is an example of how occultists use ceremonial rituals to manipulate the minds of the public. They use popular music and movies as attunements, and they project their evil intentions through those attunements. In the case of the Kennedy assassination, the song Old Black Magic was used as an attunement. They manipulated the minds of the public to put everyone in a state of shock and denial about the murder of JFK. Obviously, JFK was not killed by a lone gunman. It involved many persons. And many satanic covens in the US and Europe were involved in the occult aspect of this assassination. This event was planned well in advance. The song Old Black Magic was sung to JFK while he was still alive as president. It was also featured in popular music. It played on the radio everywhere, and anyone who heard it was being subconsciously programmed, psychically programmed, to interpret the death of JFK in the way that the satanic occultists wanted. So the myth of the lone gunman was widely believed, even though it was obviously untrue. JFK's death put Johnson in the Oval Office. Johnson escalated the Vietnam War, and the entire war in Vietnam was one long satanic blood ritual. Whether you realize this or not, you have been subjected to occult manipulation throughout your entire life. At this time, wealthy Luciferian aristocrats virtually own the news and entertainment business, and they use structured, psychic, remote influencing to control the minds of the public.
That old black magic has me in its spell.